Hello everyone, this is Asraf Sultana, Assistant Professor in Triple Department, working in ISL Engineering College. I am going to take the subject Power System 2 for Triple third year students. So in Power System 2, in today's class we are going to discuss what are the course objectives, course outcomes, and what is the syllabus and what is the suggested readings. And we are going to see the introduction class. So let us start with the course objectives. So the objective of this course is to expose the students to able to understand and learn the performance analysis of transmission lines and cables, and to be able to comprehend analysis of symmetrical and unsymmetrical faults in the power system. Now let us see course outcomes. So on successful completion of the Power System 2 course, student would be able to acquire modeling of different short, medium and long transmission lines. Second one is to understand the impact of different types of faults on overhead transmission lines and calculation of fault currents and their significance. Third course outcome is explain the reasons for voltage variation, importance of maintaining constant voltage in power system and different voltage control methods. Fourth one is acquire the knowledge of natural impedance of transmission line and significance in the operation of power system network. Now let us look into the syllabus. In the unit 1, we are going to see transmission line theory. So under that we are going to see performance of short, medium and long transmission lines, line calculations, tuned lines, power circle diagram and their applications, corona, causes, disruptive and visual critical voltages, power loss, minimization of corona effects. So unit 2 consists of symmetrical faults. So under symmetrical faults, we are going to see use of per unit quantities in power systems, advantages of per unit system, symmetrical three-phase faults, transients in RL series circuits, short circuit currents, reactances of synchronous machines, symmetrical fault calculations, short circuit capacity of bus. So under third unit, we are going to see about unsymmetrical faults, symmetrical components of unsymmetrical phasors, power in terms of symmetrical components, sequence impedance and sequence networks of unloaded generators, sequence impedances of short circuit of circuit elements, single line to ground, line to line and double line to ground faults on unloaded generator, unsymmetrical faults of power systems, open circuit faults. Fourth unit consists of voltage control. So under voltage control, we are going to see phase modifiers, induction regulators, tap changing transformers, series and shunt capacitors, reactive power requirement calculations, static VAR compensators, thyristor controlled reactor, thyristor switch capacitor. Fifth unit consists of traveling wave theory, causes of overvoltages, traveling wave theory, wave equation, open circuited line, short circuited line, junction of lines of different natural impedances, reflection and refraction coefficients, junction of cable and overhead lines, junction of three lines of different natural impedances, and Bewley's lattice diagram. So let us first see introduction to this subject. So important consideration in the design and operation of a transmission line are the determination of voltage drop, line losses and efficiency of transmission. So there are the classification of overhead transmission line is of three types, that is short transmission line, medium transmission line and long transmission line. Okay, so this is the classification of overhead transmission line. So what I said, the important consideration in design and operation of transmission lines are determination of voltage drop, line losses and efficiency of transmission. So these are the three things we have to first understand. Okay, voltage drop, line losses and efficiency. So these values will be influenced by the line constants, that is RLC components of the transmission line. Resistance, inductance and capacitance of transmission line. Okay, so for instance, the voltage drop in the line will depend upon the values of these three line constants. Okay, Similarly, resistance of transmission line conductors is the most important cause of power loss in the line, and it will determine the transmission efficiency. So we are going to develop some formulas by which we can calculate voltage regulation, line losses and efficiency of transmission lines. So these formulas will be important for two principal reasons. Firstly, they will provide an opportunity to understand the effects of the parameters of the line on bus voltages and the flow of power. Secondly, they help in developing an overall understanding of what is occurring on electric power system. So now we are going to look into classification, that is short, medium and long transmission lines. Okay, so transmission line will be having three constants R, L and C distributed uniformly along the length of the whole length of the line. So apart from these three constants, there may be a fourth constant, that is shunt conductance. It will represent the conductance between conductors or between the conductor and the ground, and accounts for the leakage current at the insulators. It is a very small in case of overhead lines and can be assumed as zero. So we are not considering that. That is fourth constant, shunt conductance. It may be equal to zero. So it can be neglected. So we are considering only three constants R, L, C. Okay. So here transmission line will be having these three constants R and C, which is distributed uniformly along the whole length of the line. The resistance and inductance will form the series impedance. The capacitance existing between conductors for a single phase line or from a conductor to neutral for a three phase line forms a shunt path throughout the length of the line. So therefore, capacitance effects introduce complications in transmission line calculations. So because of this capacitance, there will be some complications in the transmission line calculations. So depending upon the manner in which capacitance is taken into account, overhead transmission lines are classified as short, medium and long transmission lines. So when the length of an overhead transmission line is up to about 50 kilometers and the line voltage is comparatively low, that is less than 20 kilovolt, it is usually considered as short transmission line. Okay, students. So in this box, we are telling here that if the line is short, length will be 50 miles, 80 kilometers, voltage is 11 and 33 kV. Parameters are R and L. Okay. So short transmission lines, what we are telling here, that when the length of an overhead transmission line is up to about 50 kilometers and the line voltage is comparatively low, that is less than 20 kilovolt, it is usually considered as short transmission line. Due to smaller length and lower voltage, capacitance effects are small and hence can be neglected. Therefore, while studying the performance of short transmission line, only resistance and inductance of the lines are taken into account. Okay, so same thing I have written here. So only resistance and inductance are taken into account, and the voltage at which these are working is 11 and 33 kV, and length is 50 miles, 80 kilometer. Next is medium transmission lines. When the length of an overhead transmission line is about 50 to 150 kilometers, so between 50 to 150 kilometer, and the line voltage is moderately high, greater than 20 kilovolts and less than 100 kilovolt, it is considered as medium transmission line. So due to sufficient length and voltage of the line, capacitance effects are taken into account. For purposes of calculations, distributed capacitance of the line is divided and lumped in the form of condensers shunted across the line at one or more points. So next we will see the third one is long transmission line. When the length of an overhead transmission line is more than 150 kilometer and the line voltage is very high, that is greater than 100 kilovolt, it is considered as long transmission line. For the treatment of such a line, the line constants are considered uniformly distributed over the whole length of the line, and rigorous methods are employed for solution. So it can be emphasized here that exact solution of any transmission line must consider the fact that the constants of the line are not lumped but are distributed uniformly throughout the length of the line. Okay, so same thing I'm telling here, that for short and long also we have seen here that the constants of the line are not lumped. Lumped means what? They are not coming together. They have to be distributed uniformly. That is, they have to be placed in the entire transmission line. Okay, so that is distributed uniformly throughout the length of the line. However, reasonable accuracy can be obtained by considering these constants as lumped for short and medium transmission lines. So let us see various important terms related with the subject. So while studying the performance of a transmission line, it is desirable to determine its voltage regulation and transmission efficiency. So we are going to see the definitions of this voltage regulation and transmission efficiency. Okay, let us first see what is voltage regulation. When a transmission line is carrying current, there is a voltage drop in the line due to resistance and inductance of the line. Okay, so whenever a transmission line is carrying a current, so there will be voltage drop in resistance and inductance of the transmission line, and the result is that receiving end voltage of the line is generally less than the sending end voltage. Okay, so output is not equal to input because of this voltage drop. So result is that the receiving end voltage um, of the line is generally less than the sending end voltage. So the receiving end voltage I am representing by VR, and sending end voltage is represented by Vs. So this voltage drop Vs minus Vr in the line is expressed as percentage of receiving end voltage Vr, and it is called as voltage regulation. So mathematically, how we can write percentage voltage regulation? Percentage voltage regulation can be written as Vs minus Vr by Vr into 100. Okay. Or when we tell the definition of voltage regulation, how it should be? What is voltage regulation? Voltage regulation is the voltage is defined as um, Vs minus Vr, that is sending end voltage minus receiving end voltage, expressed as a percentage of receiving end voltage into 100. Okay, percentage if you take, you multiply it by 100. So the difference in voltage at the receiving end of a transmission line between conditions of no load and full load is called as voltage regulation, and it can be expressed as a percentage of receiving end voltage. So at no load, there is no drop in the line, so that at no load, VR is equal to Vs. Okay, at no load, there will be no drop, so VR is equal to Vs. However, at full load, there is a voltage drop in the line, so that receiving end voltage is VR. So difference in voltage at receiving end between no load and full load, that is Vs minus VR. So this Vs minus VR can be said as the difference in voltage at the receiving end between no load and full load. Okay, and percentage voltage regulation can be given as Vs minus Vr by Vr into 100. Or when you say the definition of voltage regulation, it can be said like this: the difference in voltage at the receiving end of a transmission line between conditions of no load and full load is called as voltage regulation. I hope this is clear to everyone. Okay, now let us see the next important term, that is transmission efficiency. Okay, um, and one more thing regarding voltage regulation. It is desirable that voltage regulation of transmission line should be low. That is, the increase in load current should make very little difference in the receiving end voltage. Okay. So even though if there is an increase in load current, it should not have any difference in the receiving end voltage. Now let us see the transmission efficiency. The power obtained at the receiving end of a transmission line is generally less than the sending end power due to losses in the line resistance. So the ratio of receiving end power to the sending end power of a transmission line is known as the transmission efficiency of the line. Okay. So what is transmission efficiency? Ratio of receiving end power to the sending end power of a transmission line is known as transmission efficiency of the line. So when we write it in the form of a equation, we can write this as percentage transmission efficiency is equal to efficiency eta t. We can write eta suffix t is equal to receiving end power by sending end power into 100. Receiving end power can be written as VR IR cos phi r. Power is equal to VI cos phi. We know this equation of power, VI cos phi. So if it is the receiving end, then you take it as VR V suffix r I suffix r small V suffix small capital R I suffix capital R cos phi r divided by VS IS cos phi s into 100. So VR, IR and cos phi r are the receiving end voltage, current and power factor, and VS, IS, cos phi s are the corresponding values at the sending end. So receiving end is represented by R's. If it is VR, IR, then it is receiving end voltage and current, and cos phi r is also receiving end power factor. If it is VS, IS, cos phi s, then it is sending end voltage, sending end current, and sending end power factor. Okay, students, I hope these two topics are clear to everyone. One is voltage regulation, another one is transmission efficiency. So what is voltage regulation? When a transmission line is carrying current, there is a voltage drop in the line due to resistance and inductance of the line. So result is that receiving end voltage VR of the line will be generally less than the sending end voltage Vs. Since this voltage drop Vs minus VR in the line is expressed as a percentage of receiving end voltage VR, and it is called as voltage regulation. Okay. And percentage voltage regulation is written as Vs minus VR by VR into 100. Then we have seen the transmission efficiency. Power obtained at the receiving end of the transmission line is generally less than the sending end power due to losses in the line resistance, and the ratio of receiving end power to the sending end power is called as transmission efficiency. And eta T can be given as receiving end power by sending end power into 100, and it is given as VR IR cos phi R by VS IS cos phi S into 100. VR, IR and cos phi R are the receiving end voltage, current and power factor, and VS, IS, cos phi S is the sending end voltage, current and power factor. So the effects of the line capacitance will be neglected for the transmission line. So therefore, while studying the performance of such a line, only resistance and inductance of a line are taken into account. So in the next class, students, I will be telling about the performance of single phase short transmission line, three phase short transmission line, okay, single phase and three phase short transmission line. And then we can see few numericals also based on that topic. Next we will see medium and long transmission lines. Okay, in detail we are going to see all these short, medium and long transmission lines along with numericals. So today's class was just an introduction class. What is the syllabus and what is the course outcome and course objectives? See students, according to the syllabus of Osmania University, according to the curriculum, uh, three suggested readings are there, three textbooks are there. The first one is Electrical Power Systems, New Age International, 4th edition 2006 by C.L. Vadava. Okay, so already you must have seen this book for Power System 1 subject, students. You know this book. Okay, so in this book you can find PS1, PS2 and PSOC also one subject is there in final year. That subject also you can have in this book. Okay, so second suggested reading is Power System Analysis, Tata McGraw-Hill, 4th edition 2003, Gregor and Stevenson. Okay, this is also a good book, students. And third one is Modern Power System Analysis, Tata McGraw-Hill, 4th edition 2012, Nagarath and Kothari. So apart from these three books, one more book which can be suggested, that is which I am going to refer, is Principles of Power Systems by V.K. Mehta and Rohit Mehta. This is also a good book. Although it is not there in the suggested readings, but still you can refer this book for understanding purpose. Okay, students, you can refer all these three books for your syllabus purpose, syllabus point of view. I hope this is clear to everyone. Okay. So we are having Power System 2 subject. So in Power System 2, what are the various units we have seen? Course objectives and course outcomes we have seen. Let us do the quick revision. So unit 1 consists of transmission line theory, performance of short, medium and long transmission lines. So this we are going to cover, okay, in the tomorrow's and next classes. Short, medium and long transmission line, the numericals, very important for final point of view. Okay, line calculations, tuned lines, power circuit diagram and applications, corona causes, disruptive and visual critical voltages, power loss, minimization of corona effects. Unit 2 is symmetrical and unit 3 is unsymmetrical faults. Okay, so symmetrical faults, you will be having use of per unit quantities in power system, advantages of per unit system, symmetrical three-phase faults, transients in RL series circuit, short circuit current, reactance of synchronous machine, symmetrical fault calculation, short circuit capacity of bus. Third unit, unsymmetrical faults, symmetrical components of unsymmetrical phases, power in terms of symmetrical components, sequence impedance and sequence networks, single line to ground, line to line and double line to ground faults, unsymmetrical faults of power system, open circuit faults. Fourth unit, voltage control, phase modifiers, induction regulators, tap changing transformers, series and shunt capacitors, reactive power requirement calculations, static VR compensators, thyristor control reactor, thyristor switch, capacitor. For fifth is traveling wave theory, causes of overall voltages, traveling wave equation, open circuited line, short circuited line. Okay, junction of lines of different natural impedances, reflection and refraction coefficients, junction of cable and overhead lines, junction of three lines of different natural impedances, Bewley lattice diagram. So I'll be discussing all these 5 units in detail, students, and all previous year's question papers also I'll discuss with you. Thanks for watching the video. I hope today's introduction class is clear to everyone.